get started, we're going to do this drill where we are kind of reviewing SOHCAHTOA and how we can use SOHCAHTOA to find a missing side. So in this first problem, we are asked to look at triangle ABC, and we're asked to find the distance from A to C and the distance from A to B. So the first one we're asked to find is A to C. That's the first one I'm looking for. So in order to find A to C, let's see, I know this angle and I know the adjacent side. This side here is the hypotenuse. So since with this angle I know the adjacent and the hypotenuse, that's cosine. For cosine, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So I know that the cosine of 31 degrees has got to be 7 over whatever the length of this side AC is. So since I'm going to be solving for side AC, what I would do is simply make this into a proportion where I have one fraction equal to another and cross multiply. Side AC times the cosine of 31 degrees equals 7. I'm solving for AC, so I'm going to divide both sides by the cosine of 31 degrees. Those cancel, and I get that AC equals, well, let's see what it equals. I'm going to pull up my calculator. I need to make sure that my calculator mode is in degrees, and it is. And I'm going to take 7 divided by the cosine of 31. And I get, it says round to the nearest hundredth, so that would be 8.12. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, 8.17. I was thinking 8.2, but 8.17. So 8.17. So that's my answer here. Right. Now I need to find the length of side A, B. So in order to do that, this is the side I'm looking for now. And so this time I have the adjacent side, I have the angle, I don't have the opposite side. So opposite and adjacent, that's going to be TOA, opposite and adjacent, so I'm looking at tangent. So this time I'm going to write that the tangent of 31 degrees is equal to opposite, which is AB, over adjacent, which is 7. Again, I just put this over 1 and I cross multiply. AB is equal to 7 times the tangent of 31 degrees. And I'm just simply going to put that into my calculator, which is already in degrees. So 7 times the tangent of 31. And I get 4.21. Let's go to our next problem. Find the measure of angle D in triangle DEF. So the angle that I'm looking for is this one right here. And I know all of my sides. So whenever I'm looking for an angle, this is where I'm going to do my inverse. So I could actually do inverse sine, inverse cosine, or inverse tangent. I want to show you all three just to make sure you understand it. So the inverse sine of angle D, sine, remember, is opposite over hypotenuse. This side here is my hypotenuse. Opposite is 3 square root of 3 over 6. Actually, I'm sorry, I wrote this incorrectly. this would be that d is equal to, I'm sorry, the inverse sine of this. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to confuse you guys here. Because we know that the sine of d, the reason is that the sine of d equals 3 times the square root of 3 over 6. So then I take the inverse of both sides. And that is why d, those cancel, equals the inverse sine of 3 square root of 3 over 6. I could also do that d equals the inverse cosine. Inverse cosine would be adjacent over hypotenuse. Or I could even do inverse tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. I'm going to do this one. This one just looks like the easiest one to type in. And so I'm going to do inverse cosine of, I know that 3 over 6 is a half, and I get 60 degrees. All right. Number 11, a ladder is against the wall. All right, so here's the wall, here's the ladder. This is the wall. This is the ladder. Okay. And against the wall makes a 70-degree angle with the ground. So this would be the ground. So this right here is my 70-degree angle. This has to be 90 degrees. I mean, hopefully the wall is a wall that's 90 degrees with the ground. It should be. If the base of the ladder is 3 feet from the wall, so my 3 feet goes right here. That's where my 3 feet is. Find the length of the ladder. All right. So let's see. I want to know the length of the ladder. I want to know this, and I know the angle and the 3 feet. So what I always ask myself in a situation like this, is it a sine, cosine, or tangent relationship? With the 70, I have the adjacent and the hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine, which means this is a cosine relationship. Cosine of 70 degrees is equal to 3 over x, because I don't know what the ladder is. Like I said, I cross multiply. X times the cosine 70 degrees is equal to 3. Solving for x, so I'm going to divide both sides by the cosine of 70. And I'm going to type 3 divided by the cosine of 70 degrees into my calculator. 3 divided by cosine of 70, 8.77. So 8.77 feet is the length of the ladder.